Big Dash knows what?
Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. You see the thumbnail. It's about that time. We talking free agency, right? But not just free agency. We talking about fixing the Giants, and we're talking about some players that are currently on the New York Giants until the season is over. And which one of these guys or how many of these guys would I resign? Again, this is my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about some of the people that are coming up that are on the New York Giants that you would like to see back. So without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. You see the hat, Giantology, the study of Giants football. Let's get to work. Starting off with this free agent list. Let me throw it up here. And this is not all of the free agents. These are just some of the free agents that I wanted to note. So right off the bat, we got Azeez Ojulari, Darius Slayton, Jason Pinnock, Adoree Jackson, Isaiah Simmons, Drew Lock, Greg Van Roten, Aaron Stinnie, the punter Jamie Gilliam, the Scottish Hammer, Casey Crater, the long snapper, Chris Manhertz, Tommy DeVito. So right off the bat, I'm going to get some things out of the way. Go ahead and bring back the punter. And definitely go ahead and bring back Casey Crater, the long snapper. Just go ahead and get that done. If you can find a better punter out there, fine, fantastic. I'm not wasting any time trying to look for a punter. Right now, the Scottish Hammer's serviceable, good, runs hot and cold. It is what it is, but I'm keeping Jamie Gilliam for a good price. Casey Crater, long snapper, get the deal done. Doesn't really matter to me. Where I want to start at is Azeez Ojulari. Azeez Ojulari, a lot of people, if you would have asked me before he got hurt again, I was going to say, you know what, let's try to sign him. Let's try to bring Azeez Ojulari back. We see when he gets in there, when he gets his snaps, you can use him in a rotational role and he can give you some production. But time after time after time, Azeez Ojulari is hurt. Ended up on the IR again. Can't trust it. To me, I can't trust it. Just looking at his grades right now. 56.4 overall grade. 22 pressures, not bad. 7 sacks, and again, we saw that come in bulk. To me, I think time has ran out on Azeez Ojulari as far as him being a New York Giants. Had a lot of faith in him, showed some flashes, but always hurt. Now, if you want to bring him back on a 1-year prove-it deal, that's very cheap. That's one thing, but I don't know the mindset of Azeez Ojulari. Does he want more security? Does he want more years? I'm pretty sure any team he signs with is probably going to want a 1-year prove-it deal from Azeez Ojulari just because of the injury history. And again, I like Azeez Ojulari. I was rooting for Azeez Ojulari. And guess what? If Azeez was as good as he was supposed to be, we wouldn't have had to spend all that money on Brian Burns. We would have just re-signed Azeez Ojulari, and there it is. But nope, he wants to stay injured. Again, it's not a player getting injured. It's not their fault. But again, he can't stay healthy enough for me to trust him. So for me, Azeez Ojulari gotta go. He gotta go. I apologize, Azeez. If you get a chance to see this, I hope you understand why I feel the way that I feel. I hope the best. If you can get healthy, if you can stay healthy, and the New York Giants bring you back, I'm not gonna cry about that because I know what the potential is. But right now, for me, in this video, I gotta wave goodbye to you. Maybe we should have traded you at the deadline and got something for you. But again, Joe Schoen is Joe Schoen. Another free agent walks and probably goes somewhere else and becomes a better player. Next on the list is Darius Slayton. Now, I've gone back and forth with Darius Slayton over the past 3 seasons, right? Darius Slayton is a constant New York Giant, right? Old faithful, old reliable. That was until we got Malik Nabers, right? And it's not Darius Slayton's fault. But Malik Nabers is uncut #1 wide receiver 1 for the New York Giants. The target, you saw the targets for Darius Slayton just drop substantially. Now, the one thing that the New York Giants, the place that we're in, is that we absolutely need a wide receiver too. Now, we can address this in free agency. We could address this in the draft, possibly, depending on where you want to pick a wide receiver. But do you really want to spend a lot of money in the open market on a wide receiver too? I'm hearing people talking about let's go get T. Higgins. You can't have T. Higgins and pay T. Higgins $25 million, then have Malik Nabers here when you already know, you don't, first of all, you don't know what the quarterback situation is. Wide receivers want and need to have the football. They need the targets, and you cannot have a T. Higgins in the lineup and Malik Nabers and these guys not be able to get the ball together. We can barely get Malik Nabers the ball as much as he wants to. So you're talking about throwing T. Higgins on this roster is a whole nother thing. But let's get into the numbers for Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton grade was a 59. 59. Again, targets went down, production went down. Still had over 500 yards receiving. Only 2 touchdowns this year. He ranked 91st out of 98 wide receivers. It's a little bit controversial what I'm about to say because a lot of people don't believe or agree with what I'm about to say. I'm bringing back Darius Slayton. If I'm Joe Schoen, I'm probably bringing back Darius Slayton even more. Because they need to have results. They don't need a question mark at wide receiver 2. They pretty much know what you have or know what they have in Darius Slayton. The problem is, how much do you pay Darius Slayton? When you look at the grade this year, you look at his numbers this year, he probably would have made more on the open market last year than this upcoming preseason. But I'm also thinking about, like, who are you paying really in that wide receiver room? And also, how much is Darius Slayton going to ask for? Now, if you can get Darius Slayton for a good price, you have your wide receiver 2. I'm probably still going to look in free agency for other available wide receivers. I'm still trying to develop Jalen Hyatt at the same time if we don't try to pull off a trade during the draft or something like that. But you know what to expect from Darius Slayton. He can get open. He can stretch the field. He's a nice person to have opposite of Malik Nabers. He's not a superstar or anything like that. But if you get a better quarterback in here with more consistent play, maybe his numbers go up. Because again, he got 500 yards with the crazy show that we had at quarterback this past season. And I say this past season like it's not still ongoing. But yeah, the New York Giants were out of it a long time ago. But if it's up to me, I'm most likely bringing back Darius Slayton, but the price has to be right. And we'll see what happens with that. Also, I believe he would like to come back. He's already defending. He's happy that Brian Dable came back and stuff like that. So, Darius Slayton is who he is. I can't fault him for that. Moving along. Jason Pinnock. I wanted to extend Jason Pinnock before the season started because I saw that type of quality and potential in him. Then the season happened. Didn't have the best season in this new scheme with Shane Bowen. But I'm just thinking about the safety spot and who we have back there and also the importance of the draft. When I'm thinking about the safeties in this draft and also all of the holes that we have already, why would I get rid of Jason Pinnock, create another hole knowing damn well if you create another hole, Joe Schoen is going to go just try to find a safety out there. It just becomes a problem. Just like Darius Slayton, just like Darius Slayton, it depends on what the money is when it comes to Jason Pinnock. For him, let's throw up the numbers. Jason Pinnock, his grade was a 54.5 overall grade, ranked 131st, 131 out of 170 safeties, had 62 tackles, 0 interceptions. He did get 3 sacks, 14 missed tackles, and 1 pass breakup. So Jason Pinnock obviously had better seasons under Wink Martindale than he did under Shane Bowen. I think the price tag for Jason Pinnock went down with a lot of players on this roster, or a lot of free agents I'm thinking, on the roster right now. When the team's not good and the production, especially on the defensive side, and your defensive player is not good, that price tag goes down, especially if you're not making the splashy plays like you did the year prior. So for me, Jason Pinnock, depending on the money, but I'm bringing Jason Pinnock back. Let him and Nubin, because they're both, Pinnock is still a young player. Let him and Nubin continue to grow, create a nice combo, nice nucleus out there. Will I cry if we don't re-sign Jason Pinnock? No. Do I trust Dane Belton to step up in his role? Not really. But I think overall you keep Jason Pinnock for the right price. Next, Adoree Jackson. Initial thoughts, Adoree Jackson, we don't even need Adoree Jackson. Let Adoree Jackson walk. And then I thought about it. I'm looking at free agency. What if we can't get some of these free agents to come to the Giants? What if we can't get a Travarius Ward? What if we can't get a Reed from the Jets? What if we can't get Asante Samuel from the Chargers? What if these guys don't want to come here? Then I'm looking at Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson still has enough in the tank that we can sign him. You don't make him the automatic starter, but you keep him as insurance so that when you're going to look at these free agent market for cornerbacks, and there's no rush to sign Adoree Jackson. You don't have to sign him right away. You can wait to see what happens in free agency. You can wait to see what happens during the draft, and then right before camp or somewhere around minicamp, maybe you sign him to the roster just to make sure you can bring him back to have that insurance. But I'm considering bringing back Adoree Jackson again. He's not going to be first priority in free agency. This is something that I would do, a move that I would make after the draft. After free agency, after the draft, see what happens, because there's going to be some people that become available because of cuts, because of their price tag, and we'll see what happens. The New York Giants do have some money, but I think we need to spend our money in secondary, but not a guy like Adoree Jackson. You want to spend big money on some of those big label or big time cornerbacks, or if you get into the draft, you spend some draft capital on some cornerbacks as well. But you do need a veteran presence in that locker room. Tay Banks coming off of the year that he's coming off of, you really need somebody that's a veteran in that room that can talk to these guys and bring these guys together. Definitely a veteran presence. But for me, I would re-sign Adoree Jackson after I find out what happens in free agency and the draft. It is what it is with that. The next name is going to be Isaiah Simmons. I gotta let Isaiah Simmons go, and it doesn't have anything to do with Isaiah Simmons. We can't play him anywhere. We can't get him on the field enough. I think we're wasting his time. I think we're wasting Isaiah Simmons' time, and he's good. He's good for the locker room. He's connected with some of the younger players here. We saw him hanging out with Malik Neighbors, so he's been a good influence on these players. From what I've seen. But on the field, we're not getting enough out of Isaiah Simmons. We're also not paying him a lot either. But for me, not a top priority because I don't know where I want to play him. The defensive coordinator doesn't know where to play him, and I think that we're wasting his time. I'll leave it at that. Isaiah Simmons, go ahead and let him go. If you bring him back, I won't cry either, but listen, we got to make some changes because you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, right? Different results. The next name, topic of the conversation, especially when it's talking about the 2025 New York Giants, is the quarterback position. Drew Lock. Drew Lock will be a free agent, and what do you guys think about it? Now, I'm going to do it two ways. What I would do and what I think the New York Giants might do. I'm letting Drew Lock walk. I'm letting Drew Lock walk. It is what it is. Thank you for your service. See ya. Good luck with the next team that you're able to get, or sign to. Because I don't believe that Drew Lock is the answer as a backup quarterback or a bridge quarterback for the New York Giants. Now, here's the other thing. I do think that once Drew Lock hits free agency, nobody's really going to be looking at Drew Lock to be a starter. They're going to be looking at him as a quality backup. But also, it has to fit what the scheme is. Now, that's something that I would do. Now, when I'm thinking about Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, they probably bring him back because they want somebody in the room that is already familiar with the system. Because you're probably not going to bring back Tommy DeVito. He's another guy that's on this list. I'm not going to go into detail about Tommy DeVito, but I don't think you bring back both Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito. So the New York Giants, in my opinion, with Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll still being here, they're going to want to have at least one quarterback in the room that's familiar with the system. And it looks like for them, I think they do try to re-sign Drew Lock. I don't want to do it, but I do think that they might do it. Then the next two guys, very quickly, is going to be Greg Van Roten, and then Aaron Stinnie. Both play guard, one on the left side, one on the right side, to give you some versatility. I do not like Joshua Zuda. I think he's done for the rest of his New York Giants career. He does have a year left. We'll see what happens. I would rather have an Aaron Stinnie and a Greg Van Roten, if they want to come back on the roster, than try to keep somebody like Joshua Zuda. At least I know what I'm getting out of Aaron Stinnie. At least I know what I'm getting out of Greg Van Roten. These are quality backup players that can start in a pinch. We force Greg Van Roten to start. If we can find better options in the draft or in free agency, you absolutely do that. These fall into that same category as an Adoree Jackson. I keep these guys on the back burner. I don't have to sign them right away, but after free agency and then after the draft, if I don't have any guards on the roster, I'm going to give Aaron Stinnie a phone call if he's still available. I'm going to give Greg Van Roten a phone call if he's still available. That's just something I have to do. Again, the main main thing is free agency, getting a guard, solidifying this line. Hopefully, people also talk about Evan Neal possibly finally moving in the guard to see if we can try him out there. We'll see what happens with that too. I haven't heard anything about them making that move yet, but it has to be, like, it's inevitable. At some point in time, you're going to have to move Evan Neal to guard, and not saying that you move him to guard to start him. You move him to guard to see what he can do and try to earn the spot. But the Giants definitely have holes, and you can't give up good depth. And I believe Aaron Stinnie and also Greg Van Roten are good depth. And also, they know the offense, and we'll see what happens. But the Giants have some plans, man. The Giants have some things to talk about, I should say. Not plans, but they have some things to talk about, some things to think about when it comes to guys that are going to be leaving or coming up in free agency. And I believe that we will see some of these guys come back and most of these guys leave. But this is just my short list, again, way too early before the season even ends, of lists of guys that I would bring back versus guys that I will let go, and some guys that I might give a phone call in the summer to see if they're still available if we do need, their assistance. But that's going to be the video. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know if I missed anybody that you would want to bring back. Again, this is not the full list. This is just a list of guys that I want to talk about right now. We'll see what happens as the season ends and how we start to creep in to the free agency period, what happens with some of these guys. But please, let me know what you guys think. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.
We got